Shock to the system, like Rob said, after such an average or even below average summer in parts of the Northeast. But we've now seen the hottest 100-degree temperature, or the first one in September in Baltimore, since 1983. So we haven't done this in a while in a lot of places. Washington, Dulles had their all. Then we've got to talk about Hurricane Lee. It is way out in the Atlantic still, and the confidence is now much higher that it should miss the northern Leeward Islands. As it rapidly intensifies this weekend to a Cat 4, part of that's because the water to the East Coast. That's by next midweek. This trough and that high, the positions of them matter greatly as to where it ends up making landfall, potentially up in Canada by the time it's all said and done. But that would be by next weekend. We'll get into all of it, Michael.
All right, well,
of course, we're watching all of the Atlantic activity. The Pacific, the Eastern Pacific, has HOVA. Now, this is the fastest growing 1 to 5, Cat 1 to 5, just in 18 hours that we've seen since 2015. The path of it stays away from land, but you could see some of the moisture at least get pushed up into Southern California, so you might deal with a little bit of that. Now, coming up here on GMA, how superstar quarterback Jalen Hurts is making a big difference, helping level the playing field for young women. Plus, we've got Kourtney Kardashian. A lot of folks have been following her whole medical situation. Well, she is opening up about what happened. And then Tori's here. I am already shopping with my eyes because deals and steals with influencer Jen Reed, bringing us big savings on viral sensations. Your local news and weather next. Good morning, George. Baltimore, Maryland hit 100 for the first time in September in 40 years. So it's not to look at Hurricane Lee. It's still way out there in the Atlantic, but it is in very warm waters. And by this week, Cat 4, it's going to be strong in those super warm waters. We're talking 3 to 4 degrees above average, and to potentially have impacts as far north as Canada.
All right, Ginger, thank you so much for that. We're going to
GMA cover story. News Today looked at the
painkillers. We know that they both come with an increased clotting risk. What was a hormone?
So the idea of clotting is not new. We've talked about it, but specifically in this study.
So again, which could be prescription or over the counter, we're talking about things like ibuprofen. As we say in gynecology all the time, the risk of a clot in pregnancy. You know, the 4 words: talk to your doctor.
Mom is starting her second year of medical school, and I'm not joining her. Let's just say that. Let's go ahead and start the tropical, or not tropical at all, but it looks like it. Traverse City, Michigan, more than 7 inches of rain. Detroit this morning has the low in the front really close. We've seen some humidity drop. Going to see it drop as it cools. But that same front is going to make it through central Pennsylvania, down to D.C., up through Albany, and even up to Burlington, because you've got a damaging wind threat anywhere there in yellow. That happens this afternoon through the evening, so watch for that and some heavy rains too. Your local weather is coming up next. Much you know is we have our first official heat wave likely of the season here in New York. It is snowing, which is normal for this time of year, but Alta, Utah had a little dusting there as we ended Labor Day weekend and started unofficial fall. It does certainly not feel like it. We're in the southwest. We're going to see a building bridge. Phoenix could see up above 110 again for several days this weekend and will easily break their records there. Vegas will be around 100 for a few days. Let's get a check a little closer to home.